the wonderful world
Blinka!
of Python on hardware.
Ooh.
Okay, we're celebrating. It is 2 years of our newsletter.
Wow!
And essentially 2 years of CircuitPython.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Dan, Katney, Scott, Lady Ada, everyone who works on...
And of course the big team of people who are the contributors. I
That's
mean,
right.
I
The
can't
entire
name them all because
community.
there's so many of them.
Yeah.
I will miss somebody.
Folks like Carol out there and Nicholas Toll, like everyone who's been part of this adventure with us. So sign up for the newsletter. That's where you can see a weekly progress of what's going on. It was like 2,600 words this week. There was so much going on in the world of
It's like
Python
a magazine.
hardware. So speaking of, last week, SparkFun released a new board.
This is the NRF52840 Mini. So it's like a Pro Mini like compatible board.
Yeah.
It's got a battery charger connector. Oh, you want me to grab it? Oh, it's here. We have one. Hold on, in this magical red box.
This came in today.
Oh, hey!
This runs CircuitPython.
This runs CircuitPython. So it's got, the NRF52840 module, got a quick connector, on-off switch, reset button and like a user button, battery and USB. And of course the NRF52840, what's really nice about this chipset from Nordic is not only does it do Bluetooth low energy, but it also has built-in native USB. So very exciting. We have an Arduino core and some CircuitPython development that is happening. So check it out, especially if you're getting one of these boards, you can load CircuitPython on it and try it out. We're getting there. We got the peripherals going, Bluetooth is coming along.
Okay. And in the newsletter and also in the In Case You Missed It version, Jim the engineer at SparkFun has a quote, and you can read about why they chose CircuitPython and more. There's also a guide on development with Arduino and CircuitPython on this particular board. And for the folks who asked, we'll be shipping our NRF52840 very soon. We've been showing our progress on Discord and on our weekly shows. We like to test a lot.
Yep, and
So
we've been testing it
we'll be
against
done
all of
soon.
our feather wings. So that's what's taking us a little bit of
That's
time, but
why.
we're almost done.
Also, there's a port for the new particles that we're going to have in the store soon. These are the feather compatible, feather form factor particles, and we also have folks who are very interested and going to be putting CircuitPython and have put CircuitPython on it right away. Lead Data has been spending a lot of time, as well as Brennan and some contributors in the community, getting Blinka, this libgpod thing which we talked about last week, and more on Linux. We have a pile of Linux boards, SBCs, well, or computers as they're called. And Lead Data got one working on an Orange Pi.
An Orange Pi. Yeah, this is an Allwinner H3 board. We've gotten it working, Blinka with the CircuitPython compatibility layer, working on Raspberry Pi and BeagleBone. So I wanted to try something a little different. So we picked up an Orange Pi board, the Orange Pi PC Plus, and I was able to get GPIO, I2C, and SPI working. So that's really good. It means that all of our drivers can now work on some of these boards, which a lot of people haven't been able to use them to connect to hardware because it's not very well documented. There's usually not a really good binding library, but we have one now, and thanks to libgpod, we'll be able to support a whole bunch of different Linux boards.
Okay. There is a massive set of CircuitPython tutorials by John Gallagher that were created for the Fall 2018 Digital Technology Strategy and Use class. The students had one class and session on CircuitPython, then they were dispatched to create their own show and tell projects by the end of the semester. So you can check out all those and more. We also have No Pedro's project. This is a location-based music player that also has images. So when you walk around, if it happens to be at the location that you pre-programmed in CircuitPython, it will play a song or have some voice, and it'll play an image. They went to Disneyland, so that obviously is a lot of fun. You can go to Epcot, and when you go to the Mexico Pavilion, it plays the national anthem. When you go to the Japan Pavilion, it'll do the same thing. It'll play the national anthem. That's a very easy one because you can walk to each country at Epcot. There's a new Android IDE that works with CircuitPython. It uses an OTG on the Go
Yeah,
cable.
it's interesting. It doesn't use mass storage. It does everything over serial, sort of like AMPI does. But it works with Android, and it got tested with a Circuit Playground Express as seen here. It should work with any Circuit Playground board. But connects to the REPL over the UART, and you can program it, save files, and it's basically a very lightweight IDE, but you can do remote programming of your CircuitPython board with just any Android tablet or phone. Really interesting.
There's a lot of, speaking of particles, these are a different type of particles.
These are air particles.
This is an air sensor that uses CircuitPython to detect the particle levels in the atmosphere, and this is the display part
Yeah,
of it.
and they're using CircuitPython for this. I
Yep.
think it's a Raspberry Pi.
And then Arturo is using CircuitPython to test a lot of peripherals and more. Here is a keyboard that's being developed. These are those Cherry MX keys, and this is a one of the fun things you can do is make a keyboard.
Yeah, a little
So,
mini keyboard.
with a trinket or with a feather, you can do that. And then this is a, I guess I would call
For
this.
free wiring.
Yeah, this would be a mashup, and this is one of the freebies that folks got at SuperCon. That's a Hackaday badge, and then they wired it up to a trinket, and then used CircuitPython to control everything that's.
Look
in
at those
there.
like nice thin wires, those little
Yeah.
magnet wires, and they have some wax to keep them from touching each
Yeah,
other.
that's really nice.
Cute.
And then this is a cool MicroPython project. This is a Wi-Fi embroidery system. So the person was able to, the way we looked at, when I looked at this, I think this was a standard embroidery machine, and then they used MicroPython and Wi-Fi to get it going. So this is a neat one. I have a link to that in the newsletter. Moo has some stuff coming up soon. There is the next version, 1.1, is it's going to be an alpha soon, and they're looking for help and support. So check out Made with Moo and also Code with Moo. There's a couple things that we just released. Speaking of Moo, this is a Moo cheat sheet. This is someone in the community made this one. This is one for Python 3 mode. So of course we had to make one for CircuitPython mode.
Yes.
So Mike Brella made this cheat sheet. So if you're using Moo to program CircuitPython, you have a lot of options.
And it's in progress. If you have suggestions, let us know in Discord. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
add some, and we'll make the cheat sheet the most cheaty of cheats.
Yep. And then I did some Python on hardware history.
Yeah.
So there was a couple ones.
There's like PyMite.
Yeah, one was PyMite, and the other one, let me find it, was TinyPy.
TinyPy.
So TinyPy was a 64K. TinyPy battery's not included yet. That was in
Very, very basic.
2008. And then PyMite was about 10 years ago too. So this is interesting. Some folks had tried this, and now
But
we're-
pre-MicroPython, it's totally different, separate implementation, and it's they basically got just like the core parsing working. I mean, I don't even think it was nearly as fully featured as
Yeah.
MicroPython got, but they did a very good job. 64K.
Yeah,
I
and
mean
this
that's
was
all they
10
had at the
this
time.
is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then also we cover all things in Python. So there's some interesting art projects. This is some ASCII to GIF Python scripts.
That's cool.
And more. We did a big update to the awesome CircuitPython list. So if you want all of this, it's on GitHub. It's awesome-CircuitPython. And like I said, go to Adafruitdaily.com. We have a separate site because we never want anyone to think we'd spam them, because we won't. And you go there, you sign up for the Python and microcontrollers. It's all part of the Code Plus community, and that's Python on hardware this week.
Epic.
There is so much going on right now.
And that's not even everything. That's just everything we get to.
Everything we can fit in a newsletter in a week. Okay.